And you're still watching Prime Morning. Like I said earlier, it's time for the News Flash segment. My name is Roslyn Felly, and I've been joined by great man in Ghana, Honorable. Maybe I should call him Honorable, but I know that he doesn't like it too much, but I'll still say it. Probably I'm just prophesying into the future. Open Kwame Jantuah Esquire, who's representing the CPP. I like how he did that. Open
You're a friend to me.
Yes, you. I know. But you said no way.
I'm an ordinary man.
Don't call me that.
I'm an ordinary man. I beg you.
Open how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. There are challenges that I'm chilling my dream. A bit chilling my dream. And it's not on discussion today, but Rosalind, how are we going to create wealth in the next 4 years? I'm not saying it all. We have front-loaded the debt. Where is the money going to come from? I'm not hearing the flag bearers talk about how we are going to create wealth.
Yeah.
In order to take care of our debt and in order for Ghanaians to be comfortable. How? So let me use the power sector as an example. We owe debt, don't we? We scrabble to find money to pay. They are still producing. We still owe them debt. What they are producing, we would have to pay. Is that not a vicious cycle? Are we going to be able to find X quantum of money, 1 billion cedis, and say, okay, we've paid you, everything is off? Are we going to be able to find it? But then we are still making promises. How are we going to finance those promises?
I've been
The
thinking
fundamental
about that
question is, where are we going to get the money from? Because we don't want a situation where you've promised us everything and then you're not telling us the challenges we are going to face, because you're going to face quite a lot of challenges. How we are going to finance those challenges, but you keep keeping promises. It's a challenge for me. I'm trying to figure out in my mind. Cocoa, we are what? Our production is halved. Oil, with oil, if oil prices go up, it's an advantage. But we haven't done exploration to production in 8 years. So the kinds of money that is coming in is not coming in. Electricity, gas. We need the gas to fire our generators. We have not done exploration to production in 8 years. We've stranded gas. We are flaring gas. Where is it going to come from? That is the questions. Those are the kind of questions I want the flag bearers to answer. Otherwise, you then find they come in, and the only other avenue is taxes.
Well, and that is what people are always crying about, the taxes, the taxes, the taxes. How are we getting our, our people to tell us how they're going to make money? Because it seems as though they keep taking us for granted. They tell us what we want to hear and, what they feel that, okay, this is it. And they never tell us how we're going to make the money. That's a good point there, opinion from Jantuah. Representing the NPP this morning is Manasseh Atabuahin. And Manasseh, it's been a while since I saw you.
Rosalind, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning to our cherished viewers. It's always a pleasure to be here and to see you as well. I was listening to my uncle. You know, he's my uncle. We are
really?
From the same, yes, we are from Asante
Yes.
Mampong.
Oh, okay. I see. That's nice.
Yes, he's my uncle. I just want to say that His Excellency, the Vice President and the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, has been answering all the questions my uncle is raising today. He has mentioned that when it comes to the energy sector, our heavy dependence on thermal power, petrol, diesel, amongst others, are things that are worrying us because we need huge volumes of dollars to import these. And he has mentioned that he's going to add 2,000 megawatts, of solar to enable us to reduce our heavy dependence on thermal power amongst others. And even with the, transport system, he has mentioned, in fact, he mentioned in February at UPSA this year that he was going to ensure that he brings in electronic buses to augment the operations of the Metro Mass Transit Company. When he said that, people were just laughing, no, this is just political stuff, this is just usual political allies amongst others. But today, just yesterday, he commissioned the first batch of the electronic buses. And in fact, when you look at the transport fares, these buses are charging. It's very, some 40% reduction in transport fares. So Dr. Bawumia is proposing huge policies, practicable policies that are geared.
I'm just coming in, I'm sorry. I think what Opinion Kwame Jantuah is saying is, how are we generating income? It's not about you bringing in this megawatts of, thermal plant or this plant or that plant. What are we doing as a country to generate revenue that we know that we are making money? So maybe we have this business here that we are generating revenue, that business here we are this factory that's generating revenue, we are into agriculture, is generating revenue. That's what he's asking.
Rosalind, very simple. Dr. Bawumia has mentioned that Ghana is endowed with a lot of mineral resources, right? And he has mentioned that when he comes, he will ensure that Ghana has a lot of rights, even in our mineral exploration. Today, when you look at our exploration acts, among others, you realize that Ghana just receives some 15-20% of the mineral resources that are being explored in country. And that is what Dr. Bawumia has mentioned, that when he becomes president, he will ensure that going forward, Ghana owns a chunk of it. If it's possible for us to own 100%, he will do that. And in the unlikely events we are unable to own everything, those who are coming to explore should rather have minimum percentages. We, the owners of the mineral resources, should have a chunk of it. And so Dr. Bawumia has outlined that even with gold, he's going to ensure that we deepen the right to first purchase. He's going to ensure that we're able to back our currency with gold, to ensure that going forward we're able to raise more revenues, to deal with the challenges that we go through. But Rosalind, yesterday was a very good day. It was a very good day for the country. And in fact, from last week, the president and the vice president, have been on a high-level commissioning spree. And it is a testament to the good work of the administration of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. On 19th of November, which was my birthday this year, the vice president or the president himself commissioned the flower pot interchange, which was very, very significant. On 25th, November, just this Monday, the vice president commissioned 1,072 homes at Tema, TDC. And this is a project that began under President Kufuor in 2006. In 2009, in fact, between 2009 and 2016, when the NDC administration took over,
a minute
they
more,
did
please.
not.
I have to go.
Sure.
My paper. So a minute.
Okay, so they did not do anything about it. And we are happy that from 2017 to now, we've been able to complete 1,072 housing units. I also quickly want to mention that on Sunday, all roads lead to Ofuase, because there will be a walk, a mega walk, Aseda walk. So Sunday, 6 a.m. at Ofuase, Aseda walk.
What's the Aseda?
Aseda, Thanksgiving walk. Aseda means Thanksgiving.
What are we thanking?
We are thanking God for the successes we have achieved. When you go to Ofuase IAB constituency, the roads, the Agenda 111, young people who have benefited from scholarship schemes, amongst others, they have a library. A whole lot of projects have been done over there. And on Sunday at 6 a.m., the Member of Parliament for Ofuase IAB constituency, Honorable Kojo Oponkroma, in the company of the Minister for Information, Honorable Fatima Torubaka, together with other friends and colleagues, will embark on this Aseda walk, to consolidate the gains we have made in the Ofuase IAB constituency. So we invite everybody to join us on the day.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me quickly read.
I wanted to respond, but I don't have
I'll let you respond briefly, but let me just read a newspaper so that you can respond. Sorry, I'll start with the Business Analyst newspaper. The Business Analyst. Let's not forget that you can actually send in your messages to us. Today, our topic is centered on the Speaker of Parliament rejecting the plea of, or should I say the plea or the request from the majority in Parliament, that's the NPP, trying to trigger a recall of Parliament. Now, yesterday, the Speaker also issued a statement declining this recall, saying that the days are too short for them to recall Parliament. And looking at the articles, he's saying that out of this, people ought to go and campaign and make sure they gather all the votes that they need to. And the time frame is too short. They cannot use 48 hours to agree on 22 policies. And so he says no to it. What are the consequences? Well, it's good that we have Opinion Kwame Jantuah Esquire here, who might be able to tell us more about what the law says about the Speaker declining this trigger of Parliament. Anyway, so the Business Analyst newspaper is the first newspaper that I'm taking. Baumia outdoors electric buses. GJA and EC trained journalists ahead of December 7th polls. Accurate election reporting, that's what they're saying. U.S. Embassy opens new Education USA Advising Center at Osu. Ignite Media Group condemns armed attack on Metro TV premises, and the leasing companies record the lowest lending rate of 13.8%. But MFIs have highest lending rate of nearly 50%, says BOG. The Daily Graphic newspaper is the next newspaper. The Daily Graphic. Development Bank, AGI, sign MOU to bolster garment and textile industry. Pursue actions that will sustain nation's peace, Togbe Afede tells stakeholders. At the Graphic National Development Series 2024 elections will be best ever. 97% eligible citizens on voters register, says the EC. COA, that's Core Global Peace Mission, KIPTIC, and partner to promote peace and security. And Springfield, Afina Field appraisal confirms oil flow. My final newspaper is the Daily Dispatch newspaper. The Daily Dispatch, there is no way an election in Ghana can be rigged. So how come they always go to court, though? We've seen the two political parties go to court, Madam EC. So if we see the two main political parties go to court and we are being told there is no way it can be rigged, then what triggered them to go to court? We saw it in 2012. We saw it in 2020. Anyway, NDC likely to review enlistment into security services if that's to do with, And Alan K. was rude to Kufuor Hackman Owusu Agyeman says so. The military will only act on a request from the police. Ghana Armed Forces says so. And so this is what we have, the newspapers reporting. It's quite interesting that the Ghana Armed Forces is saying this. I just want to take a reader of that, just a little bit about it. So the Ghana Armed Forces has reassured Ghanaians of its neutral and limited role in the upcoming December 7th general elections, addressing concerns raised by some stakeholders about potential military deployments to polling stations. You see, the problem here is when one of them actually had this presser and said that they will beat anybody who misbehaves. For that, it was so wrong. I don't know his name, the man who did it. I don't know his name, but it was so wrong for him to have ever said that. And I know that he has regretted saying that because I know the ethics and the values of the military. They don't do that. So probably he knows that he was wrong in doing that. And I'm happy that the military has come out to say that they are not going to go to post unless the police calls them that they need their support. Until then, we are 100% assured that the military is not going to interfere in, voting activities. Very, very important. Anyway, so like I did mention earlier, our main topic is to do with what the Speaker of Parliament said with regards to the majority in Parliament, that the NPP's attempt to trigger a recall of Parliament. I'm going on my phone because I really want to read just a little bit of what the Speaker said in his statement. Now, the Speaker said that, Honourable Leader, as you may be aware, the performance of the functions of Parliament and the duties of members of Parliament extends beyond the plenary sitting of Parliament. Again, as you are aware, the parliamentary calendar acknowledges elections campaign period. This season is for the government, parties, and both presidential and parliamentary candidates to present their manifestos to the people and to account and justify how the mandate given to them by the voters for the 4-year term of office has been applied to the benefit of the people. Bearing in mind the provisions of Article 296A and B of the Constitution 1992 and the closeness of your proposed dates to the general elections, I am of the considered opinion that it would not be in the national interest to interrupt the campaigns of members and parties by a recall to plenary sitting of Parliament. Consequently, It will not be fair to exercise my discretion in favor of your request to summon members of parliament at this time to a 2-day sitting to deliberate on 22 items you consider urgent or outstanding government businesses. Now, hence, he has declined the request of the majority in parliament to trigger a recall for a sitting of parliament. Openye Kwame Jantuah. Now, some people are saying that the speaker is not adhering to what the Supreme Court has said. He's actually using his own mandate to do what he wants to do.
Let me just quickly comment on something my brother said with regard to the electric buses. Your boy politics again. Your boy politics again. Just to let the people see, oh, we bought electric by. Is it solving the public transport system challenges? We need a policy that will set the public transport system in a better light, including electric buses, if that may be, and conventional buses using diesel. We need a plan for public transport so that Ghanaians can take their cars off the road and use public transport. Is that what we saw? Maintenance of these buses, is it in place? So let's stop the Choboy politics and let's try and do things that will benefit Ghanaians. Now, let me go to your topic. You said what? The speaker is using his own mandate. What will be achieved? Tell me. The time that Parliament is supposed to come back is past. It's past. What will be achieved? Nothing. So let's finish the election. I agree with him. Let's finish the election. We still have from the 7th, right up to the 7th. No, Parliament rises before the 7th of January, right? So the new parliamentarians will take over before the president.
The new parliamentarians will take over on the 6th of January.
On the 6th of January. Yeah. So these current ones will end somewhere in the beginning of the new year. Yeah. Beginning of the new year. There's time there. For me, the most important bill that needs to be passed is the budgetary, the temporary budget for the session between now and the new president coming in. But I don't think there's much we can do about it. So you force, to come. And he's made a point in there that Parliament gives provision for parliamentarians to go and campaign. It's in there. They are campaigning everywhere. Parliamentarians are campaigning everywhere, wanting to come back. So you want to pull all of them back in for 2 days? That is cost. It's quite expensive, pulling parliamentarians back into Parliament for just a short duration of time. So I agree with him.
But he said he's not just pulling them, we need to get the businesses done, 22 businesses.
Can you do it in 2 days? Can you do, because Parliament was supposed to have risen on the 14th. Can you do it in 2 days? Is it possible? Have some of these bills, has it gone through the stage? The committee stages? Are some brand new ones? So for instance, the, bill? The homosexual bill. What was
LGBT.
it? The LGBTQ bill. Has it been passed? Is it in the courts? Have they handled it? Isn't the president going out? Please, look, we are going for an election. Let's concentrate on the election. Let's finish the election. The only thing is that if this election then goes second round, then it looks as if Parliament might not be able to sit. So the die has already been cast and there's not much we can do about it. Not much we can do about it.
But talking about that, are there any consequences with regards to what the Speaker has done? Can the majority in Parliament go back to court for this?
Well, if they want to, they can. But the Speaker is the Speaker. Parliament is a law upon itself within the realms of Parliament. And I think the majority leader, we only know them as majority leader. The Supreme Court came and said nothing wrong had been done, so we will still call him majority leader. I don't know why he wants to push this thing, because within this small duration of time, not much can be done. And it's not only the bills that come in. So many things happen in Parliament that delay things. So, okay, you call for Parliament. NDC have said they don't have the time to come to Parliament, so we won't come. They've categorically said to the Speaker, we are not coming because we are out there campaigning. How do you expect Parliament to function if it's only one side? No. So let's leave it and let's move on. Let's concentrate on the elections. Let's get the elections out of the way. And if there's time, we come back. Otherwise, it goes into the next Parliament.
But if they should sit, if the Speaker did not decline this and they decided to sit, they could have probably passed some of the bills, right? Not maybe 22, but some of them could have been passed, because at this point, the ordinary Ghanaian is the one that's going to suffer for it.
Who caused them? Who caused them? It should have been done probably 4 weeks back. Then we'd have been able to pass some of the important bills. But at this short time, I don't see it. Are we not suffering? Don't we always suffer when parliamentarians and politicians do the things they do? Isn't it the people who suffer? All I'll say is that Ghanaians, they have come back to us to ask us for our vote. Let's use our brains. Don't let us do this choboy politics again. And let's use our brains.
All right, Manasseh.
Rosalind, in just a minute, I want to mention that I do not agree with my uncle that the electronic buses, of which His Excellency the Vice President and the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, promised, and we really have brought them. I don't agree with him that it's just a political gimmick. It's just for the politics of it. This is promise delivered. He mentioned in February 2024 that before the end of the Akufo-Addo administration, he was going to ensure that we have electronic buses in country running so that we'll be able to have a reduction in our transport fares. Today, we have most of these buses here. The first batch has been commissioned and it is working. The aim of this policy is to ensure that going forward in the next administration, under his presidency, would have a lot more of these buses so that almost every district in the country would have one. Would have so many of them, and this, of course, will reduce our heavy dependence, on petrol, diesel, amongst others. Of which, whenever there is an increase in the price of fuel, or when there are exchange rate issues, you would find the prices of transport fares skyrocketing. For electricity, we'll be able to manage these things, and so this really is not, a political play. It is a promise that has been delivered. And yesterday, the beauty of it was that some 22 KIA ladies, graduated, and they have been trained on how to drive these electronic buses. And it was a great honor for one of the ladies to be the one in charge, driving the vice president around. This is what we want to be seeing. We want to see a period where our sisters and our mothers will not be doing this. Today we have over 5,000 of these ladies who have received training, soft skills, and they are working. And this is the beauty of what we seek to achieve. And so we are very happy that this significant milestone has been achieved. And we are confident that going forward, come January 2025, on the 7th, this administration will ensure that we have more of these as a matter of policy, so that going forward, we would have massive reduction in transport fares, which would also ensure that the general prices, do trickle down. On the issue of the recall to Parliament, which has been, rejected by the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, I believe that it's important for Parliament to ensure continuity. Critical amongst the operations of Parliament, and especially in relation to the recent call, was to ensure that some critical bills are passed, 22 of them. And you would find that in it, there is the free SHS bill. The NDC can never be trusted when it comes to free SHS, because they were the very ones who were spitting fire and brimstone on the policy. The former president, Mr. Mahama, he himself said that free SHS should not be implemented on the whimsical promises of a desperate politician. These were his own words, not my words. free SHS should not be implemented on the whimsical promises of a desperate politician. And he went ahead to even mention that, you know, the world and Africa has made certain mistakes in this regard, and we need to make sure we don't repeat these mistakes. And so amongst others, there's been some critical bills. And Uncle even mentioned that, you see, in election years like this, it's very important for a budget, a temporary budget, to be passed to ensure that government business keeps running. And administrations do change, but government of Ghana is government of Ghana. It doesn't matter the administration. So that civil servants, public servants will be paid.
But at this point,
so that
at this point that, you know, we know that Parliament should have sought, Parliament should have made this decision. For most people out there, the NPP members of Parliament had two opportunities to have done this and didn't do it. They decided to walk out of Parliament just because of where they were supposed to sit. And so some people felt that at that time, you did not have Ghanaians at heart. Now, 10 days to elections, you want to recall Parliament when you know perfectly well that at this time, people have to campaign.
You see, parliamentary procedures do have their own standards. The incidence of walking out of Parliament is not new. It's not akin to the NPP. It is a standard, you know, practice of which parliamentarians do engage in when they feel their issues are not being held. But you knew
you had 22
when they feel their issues are not being held. And you see, the duty of the Speaker of Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament is like a referee. So at any point in time, when the caucus, the majority or even the minority, presents an official writing to him, it is his duty to ensure that he's able to call Parliament. He has given his own reasons, you know, as to why he feels, you know, it will be expedient for...
He used the Constitution to back it.
I'm saying he's giving his own reasons. Of course, the majority can go to, of course, to seek redress on this matter, whether the Speaker is clothed, you know, with the rights to make a determination on issues of this matter. But for me, my greatest concern is to ensure that they are able to meet so that the temporary budget that would run, you know, through December till, let's say, January, you know, would be passed, to ensure that public sector workers are being paid, statutory payments are being honored, amongst others. Nobody will be happy if, as a worker, in December, Christmas, you are not being paid. So for the ordinary, in January, you are not being paid.
The ordinary Ghanaian out there says that NPP knew this. NPP knew that if they delay, there's a high possibility, the members of Parliament, there's a high possibility that workers will not be paid in January. They knew that this could happen, but at that time, all they thought about was where to sit in Parliament. Do you agree with the ordinary Ghanaian on that?
You see, MPP has always had the nation at heart. When you look at the bills, the 22, you know, items we seek to work through in Parliament, these are things that are in the very interest of Ghanaians. I've mentioned that the Free SHS bill is part of it, the Environmental Protection Bill, amongst others. When it comes to the issue of Parliament as to where to sit, amongst others, the Supreme Court, of course, ruled, and their ruling was to affirm the position of the New Patriotic Party, you know, to interpret Article 97(1) G and H, that when, you know, a member of Parliament decides that in the next Parliament he's going to go independent, it doesn't mean that it should have effect on, you know, the kind of where he sits or even the party he's working with in the current administration. And so these are matters that have been settled by the Supreme Court. And what we seek to do is to ensure that government business runs, so that people in this country will have some comfort. So the MPP is for ensuring that workers are being paid, statutory payments are being honored, even our debts of which we owe bilateral countries that we still honor. If some will be due in December or, you know, early January, we want to ensure that we are able to honor them so that we don't face any fine. That is what the MPP seeks to do. The NDC cannot say same. The NDC cannot say same because these are the very persons who, even before the majority releases, were even beckoning on the Speaker to ensure they don't even recall Parliament.
Thank you very much.
Quick one. Did they not force Parliament to sit? When they sat, was there business of the day in front of the Speaker? Did they come to Parliament? They didn't. They boycotted. What are they talking about? Why do they want now to recall Parliament when you had the opportunity to come in? The Speaker was there. He said there's no business of the day to even work with. And you didn't come in because you didn't have a majority. Your members probably went there, so you didn't come. You walked out. So what are they talking about now?
All right. So Richard Manarubi, representing the NDC, has joined us. Hi, Richard.
Rosalind, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, I'm doing good.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there's supposed to be government businesses to be done. The ordinary Ghanaian is the one who's going to suffer for whatever will happen, especially the government workers. They risk a chance of not getting their salaries for January. And some people feel that the NDC, or, you know, of course, we know the Speaker is a part of the NDC as well. The NDC is making things difficult through the Speaker and not thinking about the people, the ordinary Ghanaian.
Rosalind, good morning and good morning to my good brother, Atabwani, and my senior lawyer, Jantuah, and every Ghanaian out there watching us this morning. And let me thank the good people from Kwanta South Constituency and Oti region for my regional tour and then some of the constituencies.
Your shirt is nice, though.
Thank you very much. And the constituency, the rosy welcome I had in the constituencies, I can believe and hopefully tell you that, Rosalind, we've been invited to the Independence Square for the swearing-in of President John Dramani. Now, personally, I would do that for you. And the way Ghanaians are yearning for change, the way Ghanaians have embraced President John Dramani Mahama, especially the 24-hour economic policy that is going to create jobs, jobs, and jobs. Rosalind, the young ladies out there are ready for National Apprenticeship Program. Our mothers and fathers are ready for Mahama Care Program. The people out there, the young graduates who have not got access to universities, are ready for the first year free stress-free program. Rosalind, and what amazes me that our mothers in the market are ready for Women Development Bank, and that they say they are going to the polls to elect President John Dramani Mahama, elect all the NDC parliamentary candidates. We'll go to parliament, we'll not have a lean parliament, we'll not have an equal parliament, that people will have to inch and people have to distract this democracy. And so we are assuring you, but I want to assure my brother Manasseh Atabwani and tell the NPP that we want to urge them and plead with them with the current democracy dispensation that we in the NDC, as next 1992 constitution to where it is today, we want a very collaborative effort, very collaborative system for this peaceful transition that we are going to have to the NDC. And that's the transition we are going to have. We are not going to intimidate them. They should just be free and fair and give us all the documentations. Because in 120 days, President John Dramani Mahama has laid his policies and program already that we're going to do. As you know what we are going to do in 120 days, we're going to put measures in place and Ghana will work again for you. For those that have lost hope in this country and say they are not going to vote, please don't do that. Just look at the umbrella and give yourself hope. For those that think that they don't see the importance of voting in this country, please don't do that again. Please just give President John Dramani Mahama a vote. And then Ghana will work again. My brother, before I talk about the parliament, talks about going to train Kayayis to go and drive electronic cars. I have just returned from the northern region just this morning, actually. I came later part of yesterday. And that's a fact. Openi can attest to yesterday. I was on TV Africa and I have to do a Zoom because I couldn't attend to the studio. So don't be jittery and say this. And then those that are watching, they know. You have launched electronic cars when your ECG is off. There's doomsday in the country. How do you empower your electronic cars? So I want to urge President Nana Dankwa, especially the one who said we are evil, the one who said when we need timetable, we are evil. Napo, the former energy minister, and the head of economic management team, who want to become a president of the Republic of Ghana with all his corrupt and liaison, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to quickly, as a matter of agency, pay the IPPs so that they will be able to empower our energy system in this country. It is a worry.
Can we go into
It is really a worry in this country that if you go to places like the northern part of this country, the doomsday is so terrible.
All right.
If you go to places
yesterday
like
we did this topic, but you were not here to do it.
It was terrible because I have gone there practically.
Can we now talk about our topic?
Now you talk about a parliament, and it said that the NDC is intending to round up government businesses. And I saw my brother Atabwani trying to talk about running away, and I was not surprised because from the beginning he was a government spokesperson on the economy. When he saw the economy being collapsed, he ran away from the economy. He's not government spokesperson on works and housing, where the housing deficit. I was thinking he would sit here and tell us the number, what is happening to Asogli, what is happening to all the sea defenses that have been left behind. But he talked about parliament and thinking that we can use only 2 days. 2 days is 2 years about 48 hours, right? that we can use to pass 22 bills in this country. Rosalie, you said government workers will not be paid, and you raised some concern about this country. It is not true that government business, the NDC is disrupting government business. We've lived in this country where the state parliament, the 8th parliament, that I've always called that. I think that Apenyo Maken, the minority leader in parliament today, is allergic to peace and is allergic to democracy. And the nature, when I say nature, the people of Winneba, F2 must expel him because it's an answer to democracy in this country. He must expel him by voting massively.
No, but how? What has he done?
Oh, but what this young man, a young man who has gotten opportunity in this country to lead government business, to lead government as a minority leader in Ghanaian's parliament, think and knowing that the only interest of him is to sit by the right hand of the speaker, and they will call him majority leader. Meanwhile, you don't have the numbers. His is about fans.
Please, the court has disputed that. So can we move on?
The court has disputed that what?
Yes, we know what the court ruling was.
That what was the court ruling?
You don't know what the court ruling was?
I didn't read the court ruling. I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand the process of the court ruling.
So
what I know is that the NDC have majority in parliament. So I'm told that they went to court and they are waiting for the speaker to take a decision on that. That's what I know. Whatever happened, me, I don't know. So, Rosalind, so in that case, it's not everybody that understands the court system. Is it everybody that watch court proceedings? If I choose not to watch court proceedings,
you don't know that the
what
court,
I know is that in parliament,
with the interpretation from the court, the NPP remains majority in parliament.
I'm not aware. So what I know is that the NDC have majority in parliament.
Then I'm telling you right
now. Okay, I just heard it.
That the NPP has
so
majority in parliament. So are they going for any
by-election and have more numbers again, or what is
from it? What the court ruling is, the NPP is majority in parliament.
I understand English, and I know Article 97 plus 1G and H.
Yes.
And so in interpretation of Article 1G and H,
by the Supreme Court.
My understanding.
No, it's not
per my understanding. When somebody forfeit his membership in a political party, it's no more. When somebody cross carpet from his party to any political party or decide to contest in any party without his color, has forfeit his membership.
That's your understanding. The Supreme Court says it's not so.
I didn't hear what the Supreme Court.
I just told you.
So I'll find out to read the English and see, and somebody else will interpret to me. So because he wants to sit in parliament and call himself majority leader, he has left government business for close to 2 months now. No business is going on in parliament. And what amazes me is that 10 days to election, he has sent a letter to recall parliament, for parliament to come and sit down and pass 22 bills for only 2 days. Why do you do that to our democracy? Why do you do that to ordinary Ghanaian on the street? Why do you do that where we sat in this country and our brothers and sisters are suffering from cancer, are suffering from other chronic diseases because some MPP apparatchiks that we know are involved in Galamsey, and the bill was laid in Parliament to repeal for deforestation and afforestation and stop Galamsey. He never even thought of it. He was thinking about
the LI 246.
Yes, LI 247. He was only
2462.
2462, whatever it is. He was thinking of to call me majority there in Parliament. Say yeah. When he recalled Parliament for Parliament to sit, and all the NDC majority members were in Parliament. He was in the chamber in press conferences. So Speaker says that this time the law and provision of the law make provision for elections and election period, and that for 10 days to elections, it is not possible for Parliament to sit.
So this one you understand.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Yes, I just read it. Yes, I understand that one.
For the other one you don't understand.
And that's the amazing thing is that we are saying that we are so worried about this issue. So I want to urge the minority in Parliament, that's the MPP, led by Kwame Jantuah, and majority is always...
It's not minority. That is the majority, says the Supreme Court. Please, let's correct
Rosalind, 1, 2, 3 are hosts. Are we not? Myself, Lawyer Jantuah, and my brother...
You are guests.
We are guests, yeah? You are what? You are the host.
I'm the host.
So the guests, look at this number and this number. Which one is majority?
It doesn't matter.
I just asked a simple question.
No, it doesn't matter.
Which one is majority?
No, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that.
So, Rosalind, we are saying that, let us quickly, let me urge all the parliamentary candidates in all the constituencies, go out there, sell your manifesto. Government and the people electorate, including me, will hold you accountable for what you did in the past 4 years and vote for you. It's your responsibility. as a majority or parliamentary candidate. So go out there and work. After the January 7th, Parliament ends 12 noon January 7th. So after that, we can recall Parliament by 8th, 9th, 10th of December. Then every bill that we have, we quickly pass it. None is still a precedent to the January 7th. Why are you worried? I mean, the law is the law. And so we want to respect that and respect the Speaker's rule. And I will definitely support the Speaker for declining all this order.
Okay.
It's good in our democracy. It is order. And this is a leader. This is a Speaker who understands. And I want to urge him, Speaker, may you live very, very, very long to support the democracy. Speaker, may you live very, very long to make sure we build a robust democracy. And I want to urge Speaker, I will salute you.
All right.
Salute the
Thank you very much, Richard Manurubi. Let me read a few comments that have come in. Good morning, Roslyn. I pay direct and indirect taxes all the time, and these politicians can't guarantee us a better future. Look at our river bodies being destroyed by Galamsey. Power outage after the day's stress. Yesterday, as I was coming back from work, I saw street lights all over my village. Guess what? This morning, on my way to work, the NPP PC's picture on 5 of them. What do these people take us for? We pay the bills for street lights through ECG bills, and we are denied of it. But we'll see street lights in our communities as MPs initiatives. I see Galamsey destroying our river every morning. Good morning, Roslyn. Ask the NPP guy to tell us his so-called majority leader, which I know there is no majority in Parliament to run back to Supreme. Unfortunately, there is majority in Parliament, Philip, and says the Supreme Court, and I'll still have to go by what the Supreme Court ruling is, that the NPP is majority in Parliament. I'm sorry about that. Roslyn, the Supreme Court has not said or named anyone as majority leader, and in the Speaker's response, he didn't describe or know any majority leader, hence describing Markin as a leader of government businesses. You see, we have to be very, very fair here with what the Supreme Court ruling is. I'm begging you, as much as you want to say because you belong to a certain political party, so you're not seeing this as majority or minority, the ruling is the ruling from the Supreme Court, and the court is never wrong. And so the court says that these people have to stay in Parliament and operate from the seat they were brought into. That means that automatically they are majority in Parliament. Madam Hose, are the NDC MPs the only people or MPs who are contesting, campaigning for the elections? We must get serious in this country. The current parliament is the worst of all the parliament in the Fourth Republic. I'm pleading with all meaning Ghanaians to come out and vote massively against the NDC MPs who are only thinking about themselves alone. Aziz Bayo. Okay, thank you very much. Madam Roslyn, if the driver's mate can now bring buses in the last hour just for votes, then ask him to bring the Sky trains also. Ask him to build the Pualugu Dam, build the airport and the harbour for Cape Coast. For the buses, we have seen President Kufuor and President Mahama done the same. So what is so special about this? They should give us a break from Moat inside Asatere. All right, so this one says that, good morning, Roslyn. We could see many individuals, the civil society organizations and associations have all come to the conclusion of endorsing the flat tax rate proposal for the benefit of all AGI, Guta, Abosokai spare parts dealers, Swami Magazine spare parts dealers, and as well as Professor Lord Mensah. I therefore entreat the Ghanaian people to vote for number 1 for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the next president of the Republic of Ghana. John Mahama represents the past, whilst Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia represents the future. It is possible. Good morning, Madam Host. Badben is not a serious man, and the man who is in the decisive is Bawumia, and all birds and fishes will vote for Bawumia, and the Siedu NDC should not know if he sits on the tree and know what is happening. He should know people sit on the tree and know more than him. Why? Okay. So I'm going to have to go to the top again. This one says, good morning, Roslyn. The NPP campaign has been energized by the massive infrastructure works by Nana and Bawumia government. Today, nobody can say Nana and Bawumia government has not done anything. With all the difficulties COVID brought on our economy, Nana and Bawumia has performed creditably well. The evidence this time is not about any green book. The evidence is clear before our eyes. The NDC no longer talk about their unexplained 24-hour, neither do they talk about first-year student fee see, these are clear indications of confusion within their circle. They simply can't match up to Dr. Bawumia policy based on campaign. No wonder they've quickly returned to their trademark of insult. Dr. Bawumia is winning this election. The battle is still the Lord's. Roslyn, good morning. This is a dent on Parliament and most unfortunate, but also a lot of lessons to learn from a hang Parliament. For me, it's a shame that maturity is not applied, but rather politics. If we don't consider the nation and its development first, God forbid, I foresee the next Parliament being worse off. Our MPs should go back and sit and reflect. I hope they will clean this mess they have created for us as a nation. Please, let's do politics, but also be measured. We pray God to give us our next leaders, from the presidency to the security person in my office, to be from him. God bless our country, Ghana. Stephen Opoku, Saki, Michelle Camp. You know, I was actually praying this prayer. I don't know how come Richard said the same thing. I prayed this prayer this morning, I said, God, I pray that you give Ghanaians discernment to vote for the right group to take over, to take us to the right place. Because what we need is discernment at this point. It's not... Maturity. And maturity. That's what we need. Yes. This one says, I have been racking my mind trying to find one tangible reason I have to vote for continuity in this current economic hardship. Remember, my dear voter, don't go and vote and come back and continue your lamentation. Ricardo Bechim. Okay, so this one says, we are suffering. Please leave us alone. It's about food for the poor, not electronic buses. We couldn't afford to feed ourselves. Remove evil taxes now. No country is paying COVID tax. Why do you squeeze us? We put you there to rule, but you have failed us. 9 days to elections. I'm pleading with the people of Ghana, especially Kintampo people, to vote for Honorable Isaac Baffour Ameyao to be the first MP on the ticket of NPP since 1992. We always vote for the NDC, but they don't have any monumental project to show in the constituency. Honorable Isaac Baffour Ameyao has great vision and lobbying skills that will help the town to develop. Vote number 1 on the ballot paper, okay? Nana Kwame Jantuah says that, good morning, Roslyn. There is no doubt that Dr. Bawumia is winning this year's election with majority NPP MPs. A very special greetings to Obatamka. Okay. Anytime you go down, then it's start skipping. Good morning, Roslyn. What bills is Nana Bawumia going to pass? We have gone through hardship for 7 years, 11 months, with majority of us still surviving, whilst others died, with some battling with chronic illness through haircuts. Is it 9 days for us to end it and that we will die? You fed students with poisonous rice and other food stuff. 8 lost their lives in 2020, and I was victims without justice. Corruption scandals institutionalized, messed up judiciary, ECs, security services, and even FDA. Free SHS bill for laments and FDA to continue feeding them with expired food. Never. This coming from Simon. Roslyn, good morning. Please kindly ask the NDC communicator to tell us why the NDC want to unstable the peace of this country. If you want to rule, relax and wait for Ghanaians to decide. Don't force yourself on Ghanaians. Sir, please. How can myself as a teacher benefit from 24-hour economy? Is the dead go to wake now? Is JDM a magician to create jobs now? Should we stop cutting grass to sell? Hey, NDC, Edmond. Okay. Okay, so teacher Akujo Tepa says, Bawumia is sweeping the floor wherever he goes. The NDC is finished under Mahama. The founder, JJ, who signed the party constitution with his blood, died with the party. In any case, the real owners of the NDC, while the Voltarians, will sink Mahama first and then take their party back from your northern domination and clean it up for a better future. Afenyo and his legal gymnastic. Afenyo is at it again. How did we get here to have a group of tricksters ruling us? How does Afenyo think that PC can travel from far and near to Accra for 2 days and go back to their constituencies with the days left? Oh, Ghana, Patrick. Good morning, Roslyn. The military disassociating themselves in the election day politician should also admonish their supporters to desist from snatching ballot boxes and creating mayhem at the end of the day. The same politician would be complaining. I also want Mr. Jantuah to know that whether political gimmicks or not is going to save a purpose is better than siphon our resources, and we don't see any development like guinea fowls fleeing to Burkina Faso and Airbus scandal. Why is Mr. Jantuah not talking about those scandals? Bawumia is going to make a history. Majority in the north is waiting for 7th of December. Okay, good morning, host. Please, the NPP guy, his bosses like Bawumia think if, and his bosses like Bawumia think if they destroy our forest, water, and economy, is electric buses they will use to deceive us, Bawumia and Napo. Oh God, if you are the God that delivered Israelites from the wicked enemies, deliver Ghanaians from Bawumia and Napo. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Hey, wow. The prayers have come. Good morning, Roslyn. I'm in total support of Speaker Bagbin. You'll recall that Parliament was recalled recently upon the request of Honorable Afenyo Markin. Eventually, NPP staged a boycott. What is the guarantee that they will not stage a walkout again? MPs are busy campaigning to win or retain their seats. It would not be prudent to recall Parliament. Badasu, okay. Good morning, everyone. All the watering promises of Dr. Bawumia 2016, 2020, and the NPP guys were fiasco. The same Bawumia going around deceiving good people of Ghana. The NPP campaign messages are very scams. Okay, Ghanaians don't trust Bawumia. Let's put out Bawumia and NPP in the coming days. Change is coming from Philip Abuchi. I'll take just one more, and then I can go back to my guest. Good morning. Tell the NPP man that they have failed. What is the use of a Seda walk? For which success? Okay, success in your pocket. Oh, you want to thank God. What of the cathedral that you promised God? You gave God a swimming pool. NPP, you have destroyed the country. About the EC, they are playing around our intelligence, saying fake sweet things, but doing the worst. Okay. All right, so I'll come back later and read a few more messages for you. So you can keep your messages coming in on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. We are still on the issue of the decline of the recall of Parliament that was done by the majority in Parliament, that's the NPP. The Speaker gave reasons to which he declined this. Now, he says that they have to go and campaign because there's only 10 days to elections. Now, for you at home, do you agree with the Speaker or you don't agree with the Speaker? You can still send in your messages to us on 055-157-5757. This segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still and still, phone Papa Pay. Opinion, can they use any legal means against the Speaker, making it seem as though he is not adhering to what the court has said?
In these last minutes, how? What do they use pay? It's a waste of time. A waste of time. One of the WhatsApp messages, and I'll deviate a little bit, talked about flat tax rate. Yes? Mm-hmm. Let me ask the question, is it sustainable? This flat tax rate that Vice President Bawumia is talking about, is it sustainable? Taking in consideration the financial situation of this country, is it sustainable? And then what you then see, you will see taxes that, are not obvious being now put in. Increased taxes on VAT, increased taxes on this, increased taxes on this, just because you say flat rate. It is not sustainable. With the kind of financial situation we find our country in today, it is not sustainable. This is some of the challenges sometimes I see and I say, why are they taking us for fools? And because Ghanaians would not interrogate it and ask the questions that are supposed to be asked, they get away with it. How possible? Rosen, tell me. A flat tax? A flat tax is whereby your revenue coming in
is high.
Is high. It's high. So it can substitute certain areas.
Maybe they have plans of getting revenue in.
But this is where the challenge is for me. You are not an opposition party. You are a party in power. Where we are today, the country's finances are stranded. If you have bright ideas, why don't you use it to help us today? Why? Why are you waiting to come into power before you do it? It baffles my imagination that line of thinking is what Vice President Bawumia is using. Just because of what? Your boss doesn't listen to you? Or just because of what? You want to prove that, yes, I've done better than my boss? No. Oh, you are still in power. If today The president leaves this country. Who is president for that duration? Isn't it Vice President Baumia? Is he not part of the team? So I find it very difficult, some of the things he said. With regards to the speaker, what are you taking him to court for in these dying minutes? This should have been done ages ago. Yes, the opportunity was granted you. You called for Parliament to sit. Parliament did sit. What did you do? You boycotted. What are they trying to tell us? It baffles me. What are they trying to tell us? You had the opportunity, you didn't do it. Now you're coming to us. You're a little child. Mommy, give me the sweet, give me the sweet, give me the sweet. Give me the sweet. Okay, I'll give you the sweet. You hand it to the child. The child says, pet, I won't take it. He's doing shakara at you. I won't take it. Then, okay, you withdraw your sweet. Then the child can, oh, mommy, okay, give me the sweet again. Will you? What will you say to the child? Don't you see that as disrespect?
Opening at that time, would we also say that at that time, the NDC could have made things a bit easier for us to have a situation where the NPP would not walk out of Parliament? Because the NDC was always going into Parliament quite early and occupying the majority seats.
Hasn't it happened before? Hasn't it happened before in this Fourth Republic? In this particular tenure, hasn't it happened before? When, I think it was the beginning of Parliament.
Yeah, the swearing in.
What do you call it?
A day before.
What do you call it? Honorable, the Communications Minister.
Madam
Esleusu. Did she not go and sit on somebody's lap because the person was sitting there? Did they not resolve it? Parliament is a house of consensus. Parliament is a house of collaboration. Parliament is a house of understanding. Could they not? I do not see why this thing, the leaders couldn't resolve it. I don't see how. The Speaker cry shouldn't have even come in. Resolve it amongst yourself. Concession here, concession there, concession here, concession there. Let's move on. But no. Look, before Afenyomakin went to court, had Babing said what he was going to say? Did he not injunct Babing before Babing even opened his mouth? What was that all about? A majority leader should be a majority leader who preaches consensus. And I can tell you, and I know, if Osei Chairman Bonsu was leader, this wouldn't have happened.
So you're saying Osei Chairman
I said it wouldn't happen.
Are you saying that he's a better leader?
Well, what do you call it? Their performance will show.
It's immaturity.
But it won't happen. He will go to Babing, sit with the minority leader, and sort something out.
But let me correct, the minority leader.
Well, whatever the case is, it doesn't matter to me. Look, for me, it doesn't matter whether you sit left or you sit right. There are issues that need to be looked at for the people of Ghana. Where you sit, does it change you? It doesn't change you. If the NDC are saying they are majority, can the NDC, can they call government business? Can they call government, let's say, okay, they are sitting as a majority. Can they call government business? They can't. And what is the procedure? It is the government in power that calls government business. So let's stop all these gymnastics. It's not helping anybody. You are there because of the people. You are there to serve the people. You are not there for your personal interest. That is what is missing in Ghana's politics today. The president, he's a servant. Vice President Baumia is a servant. Parliamentarians, they are our servants. The courts, they are our servants. We have given you the power. Read the Constitution. Where does the power reside? It's in the people. And we expect you to do what you're supposed to do for the opportunity we've given you. But no, you're sitting on our necks. And you've brought party politics into Parliament, that the parties are now dictating to parliamentarians. How is that possible, Rosalind? How?
Okay, Kwame Jantuah, I'll come back to you. Malate?
I mean, Rosalind, it baffles me when I hear, comments, by persons who to date still claim that if the vice president has brilliant ideas, why is he not implementing it? I mean, we've read enough, and by now we should know that Ghana runs an executive presidency. the buck doesn't stop with the vice president.
That he brought in.
This is trite.
Exactly. He brought
This is
electronic
trite.
buses.
He brought in digitalization.
With the greatest of respect. With the greatest
With
of
respect to you.
With the
Richard
greatest of
Marubi, he's
respect.
on the floor. Don't do it. Richard,
You
why
see,
is Richard like
with
this? Richard,
With the
you
greatest
have
of
to go back to the north. Don't come back.
You see, he's the vice president. And the president has allowed him some laxities to lead some policy directives. That's how come as vice president, he's been able to champion some 34 policies. Okay, and so when you sit here and you claim that, oh, why is he not doing this? And you mention the issue of flat rates, and you say it's not possible.
It's not sustainable.
Yes, you said it's not sustainable. And you say it's about time we work on our mindset. You see, we have a lot of businesses. In fact, when you look at the structure of the Ghanaian economy, you realize that those who are into SMEs, those who are in the informal sector, they are some 85% of the Ghanaian economy. These are persons who are working, and the issue of taxation has been a challenge to them. They've been bemoaning our tax system for a long period. And the vice president is proposing that when he comes, he will ensure that we are able to do this flat tax rate to ease the pressures on them as it relates to our tax system. It is very possible, it is very sustainable, and the vice president is going to do it so that the business community will benefit, so that the incidence of tax evasion will be a thing of the past, so that our tax systems will be so friendly to the extent that we will now have people developing interest in taking their mobile phones and filing their taxes. This is what we seek to do. You know, and so for anybody to downplay,
one of your policies that I love.
Injustice, for anybody to downplay the sustainability of the flat tax rate system, it's just something we shouldn't count on. It is very possible.
It's very possible. For me, I think that one of the policies that I love is a flat tax rate system. The only issue is that, you know, when we cancelled road tolls, we had to pay in a different way. So people's concern is that, you know, we are given a flat tax rate system. How are we also going to pay for the deficit of the monies that we are not making out of those taxes? That's the concern.
I have mentioned that when you look at Ghana as a country, we have a lot of mineral deposits. You see, as a country, if you focus a lot on taxes and you are not harnessing or leveraging on your gains as it relates to other mineral resources, you shoot yourself in the foot. That's why the vice president and the flag bearer of the NPP is proposing that he is going to implement the flat tax rate system so that our taxes will be very easy to comply, low taxes for almost everyone. And then we would pay critical attention, you know, to the digital platforms we are using. We will also pay a lot of attention to even our mineral resources to ensure that we are able to gain some more revenues from that side. And so it is very possible, and that's what we are going to do if we do not move away from these systems, and we'll continue to overburden, you know, traders and workers and business people. How then do we expect businesses to grow? That has been the challenge.
And so, Rosemary, for me, I love
we are not taking. My uncle said it's like we are taking Ghanaians for fools, and it is not the case.
No, we love.
We are going to do it.
Yes.
Just like we mentioned the drones, we have delivered, you know, ambulances amongst others, and even the electronic buses. We are still going to implement the flat tax rate to ensure that businesses grow. The aim of government is to ensure that we are able to support businesses,
I'm just
and not to create problems for them with high taxes.
People will ask. You know, we just love. For me, when I hear policy that's good, I love it. But I ask a few questions.
Sure.
If I was told that road tolls have been cancelled, I'm going back to that question.
Sure.
I've been told that road tolls have been cancelled. I woke up in the morning, I'm like, hooray, I'm not paying road tolls again. The next thing is that I'm supposed to pay e-levy. Huge sums. And I was saying to myself, there are roads that I wasn't using to pay road tolls. Yet, I now have to pay e-levy. So some way, somehow, the money is being taken away from me. That is why Ghanaians are asking. We know that we owe so much to the international bodies. We know. And out of that, if you say you're going to, and we know that even some people had to lose their monies through this, you know, debt exchange program and haircuts. As of now, my money is still locked up, you know. So if you're telling me that you give a flat tax rate system, how are we raising the money, the funds, to be able to pay these people or these international bodies that we owe, so that I know that at the end of the day, nothing is going to be quained from somewhere for me to end up paying in a different way.
Absolutely. So this is not an issue at all. One, Dr. Bawumia will implement fully a flat tax rate policy. We will do that. And we are going to raise more revenues when we are able to, implement across all government sectors digital platforms to ensure that the loopholes that are related to the collection of government revenues are being reduced or they become a thing of the past. Through his vision, we've been able to implement a lot of these gains. And today, the incidence of ghost names, among others, are becoming a thing of the past. And we've been able to save a lot of revenues in this regard. So that is one. And two, going forward, we're also going to ensure that government, the pressure on government is reduced by ceding about 30% of our budget, to the private sector. 30% of our GDP will amount to some 30 billion. So that the private sector will lead a lot of the infrastructure developments. And when government is able to do this, what it will mean is that the pressure on government, to go in for billions of dollars to be doing a lot of projects will be a thing of the past. And two, the incidence of stalled projects, which has bedeviled this country because of change in administration, will also be a thing of the past. And once government has that laxity, that fiscal space, by ceding some 3% or some 30 billion, dollars to the private sector, it would create some more avenues for government to be able to pay attention to certain critical sectors of the economy, and also to ensure that with our gold, with our oil, we are able to put in some more measures to ensure that we're able to even reduce the taxes, on the gold and also other mineral resources to raise more revenue. So when it comes to raising revenues, the systems are there.
All right, thank
and we are
you.
going to ensure that. But I want to sound a great caution that the flat tax rate system is very sustainable, and Alhaji Dr. Bawumia, the next president of Ghana, will implement it.
Right,
as for NCS, they did same with free SHS.
All right.
They did same even with the electronic
Richard.
banks.
I beg you.
And we are still going to do it.
Just 1 minute. Yeah. If you're talking about flat tax, what about indirect taxes? That is where the issue is going to be. As he talked about indirect taxes, having indirect taxes being mounted up so high, isn't everybody paying for it? What did they say when they came in 2017? They said what? Production, not taxes, but production. Were they able to adhere to it? Were they able to do it?
Yes.
It's the same old system that they use, that they know that they will bring back in and try and mask it by saying they are giving flat tax rate, but then charging us indirectly.
All right.
They should come back and talk about the indirect taxes.
Rosalind, you see, Manasseh has been politically cognitive this morning. I think the smartest way.
5 minutes.
Because when you talked about parliament and the happening, because you know that the MPP, what they have done is not good, he ran away trying to use tactical economic...
You're not talking about JM and those things.
Hold on. He ran away trying to use tactical economic policies for an ordinary person on the street not to understand the...
Rosalind asked me about flat taxes, so what do you expect me to say?
I don't blame you, because Afenyo Makin himself says that anytime he sees majority seat, the spirit is chasing him. So for that, he can't sit there because of the spirituality of it. I understand. So my parliament is carrying all the MPP members. You sit here and talk about flat rate and whatever. Why are we talking about flat rate now? That means Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the most dishonest person on earth that I've ever seen. He told me, Richard Manuribe, me. He told me personally, and he told you too, that his government is not going to do anything about taxation. They're going to look at production economy. And that is creating one district, one factory, one village, one that will bring revenue. He told me that. He's going to toll all the roads in this country. And that when you drive your V8 or your Sprinter, you pay and they will use that to build roads. So I never knew that there was going to be tax.
Concrete roads.
Concrete roads. Even said it in the church chapel, like it was no chapel. A man of God chapel, Dr. Bawumia went there live from his state. And so I will not trust him when we said, he sits here and talks about being a translator that will get money to be able to do what? To be able to build roads, to be able to billions of dollars. Are we not in this country when people have to even contribute money? Billions of dollars to build the house of the Lord deceived by Jesus Christ, that they deceived Jesus Christ. What happened to it? 58 million Ghana cedi has used to dig a hole. What is so disheartening and so shocking? Yesterday, it is an empirical evidence I'm trying to give you. I just went somewhere and bought food. The food I bought, it were 3. I paid tax of 58 Ghana cedi. I'm telling you, just food. It is here. I transferred that money to my momo. I can show it to you. Rosalie can see it. It's here. Just food. And when I paid the food, when I was doing Momo, I paid 5 cedi 50 peso charges to MTN. The government of Ghana, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo about me again still charge me. After paying the 58 Ghana cedi, they still charge me 5 cedi 50 pesos again. And they are draining us day in, day out. And they're not using anything for any product, only consumables.
All right,
time though. And so when we sit in this country and have these people leading us, these people trying to massage our minds again by giving us rice and oil, by giving us omo, that the ordinary person should go and vote.
You also give omo.
That is what is happening. So we are saying, Rosalind, we are saying, once your time is up, we are saying, as the NDC, then we are going to look at 24-hour economy.
All right,
then there will be equity, there will be lack of jobs.
All right.
And me, Rosalind, it's been 8 years I'm unemployed on the street.
All right.
And me, so if I work and my welfare is good,
all time of
and I'm contributing for the development of the nation, I won't complain.
This is all time of
Emitas
for this segment, which is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still time. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, we do close at 7:40. It's actually 7:40, so we have to go. So we'll try and get more time from next year. From next year. From next year. My bosses are watching. From next year, we'll extend it to 8 a.m. Thank you so much. And unfortunately, we have to go. So from next year, our bosses are watching. They'll extend it to 8 a.m. for everybody so that you'll be happy. I've been having the conversation with Openyi Kwame Jantuah Esquire, who represented the CPP. Thank you so much, Openyi. Richard Manurubi, who represented the NDC. Thank you, Richard. And Manasseh Atabuahin, who represented the NPP. Thank you so much for coming.